Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Everton 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Everton through to the 5th round of the FA Cup for the first time since 2016, when of course we got to the semi-final against Manchester United at Wembley, which was a horrendous day, but we won't talk about that. Nice to see Baz. Oh, I know Brucey then, didn't I? Nice to see you, Baz. No, nice to see Everton get an opponent and really put them to the sword in this competition. You know, a team in the Championship who, you know, not a terrible side in the bottom 3, of course, but they have had points deducted this season as well. But just really nice to see us go up that gear and put them to bed quite early on.
Yeah, good performance, much better than Rotherham. We were also in the bottom 3 in the last round, and we just didn't get any kind of control in that one after the first 10 minutes. But this one was a different scenario altogether. We a good professional performance. I think Sheffield Wednesday tried to play football, you know, rather than just try to kick us and knock it long and stuff, which sometimes you'd associate with teams lower down the pyramid where they are. But no, Everton, thoroughly professional performance, and seemed on it from the opening minute and got control of the game. And apart from a 10-minute spell in the first half, other than that, we totally controlled the game, and they did very little, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they had a couple of pot shots, and Robin Olsen was alive to that. You know, a couple of corners which we dealt with, but apart from that, we didn't really give them any encouragement during the game. No. We never backed off at all. We kept on the front foot. We kept on trying to move it through midfield with obviously Sigurdsson, Andre Gomez and James Rodriguez, and yeah, we got good crosses in from the wide areas as well, and I just thought everyone was on it. And obviously that comes from starting with a strong side, being positive, and like we were talking about in the preview, trying to get us like 3-0 up by an hour, and then start making those subs, taking the players off, you know, and that's and the plan worked perfectly. Really, if you know, you couldn't go any better than that. With a game on Wednesday night, it really couldn't have gone any better. And obviously, being able to bring 2 young players on as well, and obviously one of them being the youngest ever Everton player now, really helped. So, yeah, it was just good to see. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the you know, what Carlo Ancelotti settled to do as well. Of course, making a couple of little changes, but nothing dramatic. Keeping that template to the side, having the important players, having that front 3 in again, you know, and you know, we really benefit from that, because I think that showed straight away that we meant business, and we did.
I mean, to be fair, we had obviously didn't have loads of options. We had a few injuries, didn't we, as well? So we had to go strong. I mean, he still could have made a couple more changes, which might have upset it. But I think the fact that we'd had 12 days off, I think he used that as the opportunity to get some rustiness off and get back game sharp, ready for what is 2 huge games this week, because they both are for different reasons. But we had to give respect to Sheffield Wednesday, and we did that. And I don't think we necessarily did that against Rotherham. I think in the last round, because we started and scored straight away, it felt easy against Rotherham, and then we soon fell out of our rhythm, and it became a game that was an awkward game in the end. Where last night, I don't think we stopped doing what we wanted to do, and I think we give Sheffield Wednesday that level of respect that they deserved, and because of that, it meant we had a comfortable night, because it meant players didn't drop the levels, and it made a huge difference having Dom back through the middle and having Richarlison back in the side with Rodriguez, because when you've got them front 3, you know that goals will be involved, and some of the football we played was fantastic. And I thought Andre Gomez was very good last night, and that's the best he's played for a while as well. The core, he's just brilliant, isn't he? Sloppy sometimes with his passing, but makes up for a lot of it. But no, it was a really good performance, and good to see.
I think the difference was, certainly from the Rotherham game, was that the mentality was, I think it comes from the players themselves, doesn't it? You know,
there's no crowd there, so it has to.
No, but coming from the likes of, you know, with the Rotherham game, you've got players like Anthony Gordon and I don't know. There's just little markers to where they think they are, to where they have to be. Do you know what I mean? And I think last night that wasn't there. I think it was purely focused, and I think the biggest indicator that is someone like James Rodriguez, who a lot of people I think feel like these games are going to be
beneath him.
And he was brilliant. He strolled through the game, but it was always on it. And you got that, as you say, you got that from Dom, you got that from Andre Gomez, you got that from Gylfi Sigurdsson as well, Decore. The back four never looked like anyone was going to get it. Like, you know, if they broke through the midfield, they got to the back four and they were never going to get any change out of them whatsoever. And then Robin Olsen in goal, not, you know, fully being on it is, you know, his opportunity.
The biggest compliment you can pay them is we've seen that Callum Patterson a few times for Cardiff and teams like that. He can be a handful. I think he was a centre back gone up front, wasn't he? And he's you know, he just didn't get a touch last night. He forgot he was playing, and that's credit to Yerry Mina, who looked after him all night comfortably, and Mason Holgate too. The only thing with Mason Holgate is some of them back passes he does without looking. Oh my God. A couple of times my heart was in my mouth because he just hits it blindly, but he cruised through the game.
Thought passes, are they?
The which?
Are they thought passes?
I don't know, he's like that, looking that way, and he just hits it, and a couple of times you just thinking, gee, you know. But no, they strolled through the game. Ben Godfrey, because I thought Harris for them started really brightly, the wide right, the kid on the right hand side looked quite quick. But after 15 or 20 minutes, he'd had a couple of runs at Godfrey, that was it. Godfrey just shut him out.
Like you said there, though, a lot of it, I thought early on, there was that rustiness of everyone. There was just that little bit of rustiness that you had to shake off, and you know that's what's good about that again is with a game on Wednesday night against Leicester, which you know is a big game, like you've just said. You don't want to got players going in cold, and there's that idea that maybe might be best to leave him out tonight or whatever because we've got a big game on Wednesday. We've got a game against Newcastle, but really that's exactly what they needed. They needed a game at the beginning of the week that would. They could not ease into, but do you know what I mean? It's not 100 miles an hour from the start. You know what you're going to get, but you know once you get through that first 15, 20 minutes, the blood's flowing and actually the quality starts taking over. As long as you've not done anything stupid, you should be comfortable and you should be able to, the quality should show. And I thought that's what was good about last night as well, is all those players now have had, you know, at least an hour. You know, Dom back, Richarlison back, you know, and obviously, James Rodriguez playing in the cold, which apparently can't do. But I thought that made that'll make hopefully a big difference coming up to a busy week. Yeah, of course. But I think these players will be really looking forward to the two games. We're at home in both of them, and now that they've had that run out and a good comfortable win, it should really help them.
Momentum, isn't it? As well, you've got to keep the momentum going. You know, we lost to West Ham, which was a bit of a slap in the face after when we were on a great run, but we've won the 3 games after it. So it's all about momentum, and that's what, you know, we've suffered through COVID, through other teams, you know, not being able to play because of that. So we're a couple of games behind when we would have been playing. So, you know, all you can do is keep yourselves fresh. We probably used it to get a couple of players rest, certainly the likes of Dom, we used it to get him fit because he'd have missed those 2 games had they gone ahead. And it's just a build-up now for Leicester, but we had to go out and perform at a good level last night to beat these, and there was no drama, there was no, you know, scrappiness about it. It was all about playing football. Some of the football in the first half, the moves were fantastic, and the move for Richarlison headed that the keeper pushed onto the bar was a good move. Good ball into the box, I think it was Coleman. Good header back where it came from Richarlison. Keeper gets a touch, it hits the bar. You know, and we've seen a Rabona in one move from James and Gylfi puts it wide, and we had what would have been one of the goals of the season. Certainly from an Everton perspective, the one where Dom should have backheeled it to Gylfi. The time he should have flicked it, he'd tapped it in, but it's a striker, he's gonna shoot. Keeper makes a good save. Would have been a brilliant goal of football for that. It was brilliant, and if they do that more often than not, they'll cut through.
Certainly in that move, I thought everything looked a little bit tighter, didn't it? And you just said there, you could see Gylfi making that run behind them, thinking just backheel it, but he didn't. He took the touch inside to get a shot off because he's eager for that goal. But
keeper made a good save.
That was a great move, and obviously we saw the pass by James Rodriguez to get Richarlison in. He was just offside.
Good finish though.
Great finish.
Great ball.
What a ball that was again. So
we've seen that. I mean, he scored 2 great goals this season from passes like that, Ritchie, and they've both been offside, but West Ham in the cup as well. But I mean, like you said before, Olsen had to make a good save from Adam Reach. It was a good strike and he's pushed it wide. The other one from Green was a little bit more straightforward. So, you know, they did carry a threat in the opening 20, but I thought we did still have that measure of control, and we got hold of it again after they'd had a couple of shots and really started passing through the lines. I thought Gomez, like I said before, was good, much better in possession. Still a little bit, sometimes he's a little bit, thinks he's got a bit more time than he hasn't, or sometimes he'll try and force it, but in general I thought he was very good, moved around the pitch well, was always an option. And we, you know, the only one or two things you saw last night was James switching it to Ben Godfrey, and because he's not Luca Dean, he'd stop and come back, and you'd see if Dean was there, we'd have been in again. But that's just a natural part of it. Godfrey finished with a 98% passing accuracy last night. For someone who played 70 odd minutes is incredible, and I know a lot of it's because it's short passes, but you know, he's done a great job at left back. He's not a left back, but he's done a great job, and he's done it again because, like I said, I thought Leach and the kid on the wing, Harris were their best two players, and Godfrey shut him down after about 20 minutes and that threat had gone. But we done well, and you know, it was good to see the football because those three midfielders haven't always played together, have they? Sigurdsson, Gomez and Decore, so it was important for them to get minutes under, not Decore, we know he's not playing the next game. And I thought it was interesting that Tom Davies wasn't used, and that is most definitely because he will play against Leicester in that 6. That will be his position, so I think the manager, it was clever for him to just go to Davies, leave it till Wednesday, because we don't need you picking up something unnecessary, and then we haven't got any cover in there on the Wednesday. So I thought the midfield were excellent.
Yeah, and obviously for the first goal, they were a big part in it. The interplay between Gylfi Sigurdsson and Andre Gomez was key to it. Just not letting them get on the ball, just keeping the ball. And it was again, first 20 minutes wasn't as tight, but once it got going, once that football started flowing, we mentioned that move. Those two, you've seen the levels of just. Sometimes when you look at these players and you just, you know, because of the power and the pace of the Premier League, sometimes you do forget the technique of the Premier League, of what it takes. And you just seen Gylfi Sigurdsson at the time, Andre Gomez, the ability, the first touch, the little, because there was a lot more, I thought there was a lot more like one touch passing last night, rather than hanging on to the ball. We were moving it, I felt a lot quicker. I think we've bemoaned sloppiness in that midfield, and I know it's more difficult when you're playing Premier League teams, but I think you can see that they are trying a lot more one touch passing to just move the ball quicker, keep it moving. I thought that helped for the first goal certainly, and Andre Gomez gets his second assist in 2 games, which was I think he had only had one before in the whole of his Everton career, and it's a great ball in. And Dom's at the back post doing what he's been doing all season, and that was really important as well, wasn't it? Just because obviously I know he's been out, but before that he hadn't been scoring and since December against Burnley, early December, and you don't want that to drag on. And it's the fact that he's come back from an injury and he scored straight away in that first game. I think that's highly important for not only himself, but just you don't want that thing to build up on the outside either. Which can happen, certainly. We know ourselves what it can be like if, say, and certainly around Dom as well. There's plenty of doubters out there, oddly. So it was really good, and that just settled the nerves, didn't it? Just gives that little lead and meant we could keep doing what we were doing nice and comfortably, and never looked back really.
No, he loves a left foot cross, Gomez, doesn't he? It was, I think, until Villa at home at the end of the season, he'd had 1 assist in his Everton career, and he created one for Walcott that day that got us a point at the end in lockdown. That was a left-footed cross. We had the left-footed cross against Wolves, which gave Michael Keane a winner.
Maybe he should be playing on the left.
Maybe. But that's what he used to do for Valencia, though. If you go back for Valencia, he was off on that run into the penalty area and firing it across or having shots that. And he just stopped doing it, where last night he did get on the ball a little bit more and tried. He had one a little bit earlier when a pass was on and he'd overhit it, and there was one Sigurdsson over it to him. But that time, he'd done exactly what you should do. Get in, face the defender up and just fire it across. And then it's up to Dom to get in there and Richarlison or whoever coming in round the back. But Dom gambles brilliantly, and it's a great finish, you know, the far post. And like you say, it's a big goal because he'd had a little bit of a mini drought. I think it was 4 or 5 games without a goal. I think that's number 15 now for the season for him, in that, for us in all competition. I think it's 17 altogether with his England goals as well. So 15 goals ain't bad in half a season, which is what it is. And he's had missed a couple of games, you know, with injury as well. So great to see him back amongst the goals. And you're right, after that, Everton just really took over and just kept moving the ball sensibly. It was kept possession when they needed to be. Had a couple of half chances. We had a hammer shot that got blocked, and you know, Richarlison had already had a shot. One he ran over when Coleman put it in there at 1-0 in the first half. It went behind him. There was little moments where you thought, you know, we could get the second goal here, but we were always in control, and you know, we got to half time and they hadn't really been able to respond because we had moved the ball so well after taking the lead.
Yeah, obviously half time, and again came out after half time and not much change. We kept the ball really well, and you know, a couple of set pieces early on in the second half. Great deliveries in from the same side. First of all, obviously Richarlison got the header, which is really important because you know, he wasn't having a great night. Obviously he'd knocked the one in which was offside, but he wasn't, I don't know, sometimes he looks like he's trying too hard and other times he looks like he's not trying at all, and it's difficult. I don't know, he's just not, his season just hasn't got going.
That tackle on Thiago really was where his season stopped.
Yeah,
gets sent off because he'd started the season quite well, really, hadn't he? Been involved, he hadn't scored goals, but he set loads of goals up, and that day, obviously, stupid decision and a bad challenge and rightly red carded, and he just hasn't been able to get going. Missed a month of football because he was suspended and come back, and then
he looks frustrated in himself.
Doesn't look fit.
No, I don't know about...
Like, not fit, but sharp. It's like when he's running with the ball, he's like knocking it towards the defender.
No, I agree with that.
It's normally tighter.
I agree with that. His ball control hasn't been great, and that can be a good...
But then that goal is huge for him.
No, it is, and you've seen that when he celebrated, because I've seen... Listen, especially after the match, I do the live video, and you see people, oh, he clearly wants off and all this, and you're like, where to? Where's he going to go? You know, what indication have you got? The goal, his goal and his reaction when he was taken off are two of his biggest indicators. The kid just wants to play football.
One, didn't he?
But you like to see that. Listen, he's got another game Wednesday. The manager protect him because he's going to start in that game.
He's important, isn't he?
He's a huge important, because you know, we had one that just flashed wide. I think that led to the third goal, didn't it? Yeah. Made a good save, that one, and you know, you can see there's a frustration there that it might. I don't know whether it's come from because he's not scoring as many goals as he did last season, or he wants to be almost like in his own head a bigger part of the team.
Don't forget, he's proved this with his comments that playing for Brazil is a huge thing for him.
Of course.
And he probably feels that the likes of Neymar is always going to be in there, rightly so, because Firmino plays for the champions, so the spotlight's on him. Jesus plays for Man City, so he knows that if Everton, and yet people are saying he wants off, Everton are actually doing the best they've done while he's been here. Yeah. So this wouldn't be the reason he'd want off. But this is also the least goals he scored since he's been here. So for him, he will feel like I've got to... No, but I think he's thinking, I've got to score goals because that keeps the spotlight on him. But then
whoever's... I don't know the Brazilian manager, but then that's terrible management from the Brazil management.
But it might just be an internal thing.
Someone needs to tell him to calm. Doesn't it? He doesn't need to...
But the header, it was a good header, and it will give him huge confidence, that, because it's when you're a striker and you're playing up there, I know, you're wide forward, you want to score goals. He loves scoring goals. I think it's a bit of it's internal pressure. And I think Steve said in our group, is he missing or Andy, it might have been, is he missing the fans? Does he need the fans? I think he does need the fans as well. I think you've said a few times it could be the loan. I know he does live with people, he's not on his own, but it's not quite the same. This year's been difficult for everybody, so to think footballers are any different is that same thing as why a footballer's getting depressed when they're on 100 grand a week, or you know, it's that same argument. Like they're not human beings. This is a difficult period for all of us, no matter all of us, you, me. Ned probably it probably hasn't hit Ned yet, because it'll be next year when it's all sorted, it'll hit Ned. But now for everybody it's a difficult time. So for him it's probably that as well. And I think if you're a footballer, that he knows the fans love him. He's in the stadium and he thrives off that. That's why we'd all say, the hardest working player we've got. at the moment something isn't right with him. It's not the Richarlison we've seen, but I don't think it's not like Everton keep turning down bids for him, is it?
But it's,
you know what I mean? So it's not like he's thinking, oh, well.
And also, don't forget as well, he got the concussion against Manchester United.
That curtailed him for
you know,
another
and that
couple of
stopped
games.
Him for games, hasn't it? You know, he hasn't played, didn't play, only came on late in the Wolves game. You know, his season has been very stop-start, and and listen, I'll always back him, I'll always support him. I think he's earned well enough because of what he's done in the last.
I love him, he just frustrates me because at the moment, you want him to be Richarlison, what we know, and he isn't, but we've also got to look after him, and it was great to see him head that one in, and he was so unlucky with the other one because it was a really good save because he put it in. It was that was a goal, you know, it was in. The keeper makes a really good stop, but like you say, another great delivery from James, and Yerry Mina doing what we know he can do. The power on the header it was a great ball, but what a header! And you know, that's game over then, isn't it? 3-0 after an hour, it's game over, and it's great to see him scoring as well, Yerry, because he was brilliant. People still have this thing with him, and I can't get my head around it. I think there's like a default where you always have to dislike a player in the team. I think there is that.
I think with Yerry though, the manager clearly trusts him. But I also think he's
had to earn that.
I think he's shaking off the injury thing as well though. He does look like he's a lot more reliable now in terms of how many
fitter, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks like because he's playing more games, and I don't know whether it was like that, you know, people were maybe leaving him out to the side or whatever because we don't want him to get injured, but it's like because he's playing more games, he looks like he's a hell of a lot fitter. And
he's playing on the right of the defence as well. Like Mason played on the left, didn't he, last night, and Michael Keane's gone to the left, hasn't he, to make it comfortable for him. And I think the back four, you know, Seamus Coleman was all right last night. He was better attacking. He was trying to get down. You could see what he was doing because he does overlap. He was key to our game plan because it allowed James to just play in the middle. And James going in the middle, they listen, Premier League teams can't live with James Rodriguez when he's on it. European top sides couldn't live with him when he was on it. So they weren't going to live with him when he was on it. You see how good he was. But Coleman, there was a couple of times he got in from outrageous passes by Rodriguez, but it's just a final ball.
Could you imagine though if we had a right back who... no disrespect to Seamus Coleman, but like a 20...
Seamus Coleman, like 6 years
Exactly, that's the biggest compliment I can pay to him. Yeah. If it was Seamus Coleman, we had 23, 24-year-old Seamus Coleman.
Then I wouldn't want another right back.
Yeah, exactly.
End of story, because he was brilliant.
And if we had a right back who could do that job, and James Rodriguez just put it in front of him, because Seamus, when it's a foot race, can still get there. It's just sometimes when he's got the ball, you see him running with the ball, and you're like, where you going? Where you going?
He's very much head down and hope, isn't he? And sometimes he puts a great ball in, and other times you don't know what he's done with it. So someone with a little bit better quality, or just the legs.
He did put a couple of great crosses.
No, he did. It's more the legs. Yeah. It's more the ability to be able to do it, because that would almost, it wouldn't, because we still need it, but it would take the pressure off needing another right winger, because we do need it. But it was he'd done all right last night. But that defence was excellent last night.
Yeah, it's more of a mentality now, isn't it?
But I think going forward, mate, I really do believe this. I think we're always going to need.
Well, we are
3 centre backs in our back four.
We are, because of James Rodriguez. But last night showed you why the manager is always going to play James Rodriguez.
So there's the flip, isn't it? Because when Luca Dean is fit, he obviously starts. Like you said the other day, you know, the best left backs in the world. He's got to play. Can't start shoehorning him somewhere else because he is. But that just means for me, it's Godfrey or.
Well, listen, if you look at the team and you look at the fullbacks we've got, we've just said it ourselves. One of them's world class, and one of them's coming towards the end of his career. So there's only going to be one of them starting.
Got to be,
and it's got to be Dean, as you said before. Especially when your left back isn't. Your other left back isn't left-footed. No. There's no balance.
You see, Godfrey, if Godfrey was playing on the right, at right back, I'm not saying he'd be great, I don't know, but at least he'd be able to run and throw crosses in on the run, wouldn't he? Yeah. Now, he mightn't be brilliant at delivering the ball. We're not really seeing it.
But he's got the pace to get up there.
He's got the pace, and he's a threat. and he's got the power. So if he can run and run across you. Whereas when you're running and the ball's on this side of you're not protecting it because a fullback can put it. When it's on the natural side, they've got to come through you to get the ball. So if he was on the right, imagine James playing it inside the fullback to him. He's in it. He's almost in every time.
Well, that's
not seen anyone faster.
That's we mentioned December time. We thought maybe we could. Well, not maybe, but we were thinking we need someone extra in midfield. We need a more defensive player. But we need Alan Decore and another defensive player. But but what it's shown in the last month is having those centre backs in there and saying to the opposition, well, you've got to get past these purely defensive players. Yeah. It's give us that balance. And
James come on, but we spoke the other week about balance, didn't we? Trying to get the balance between the two of being overly defensive, which we were, to being, can we be a little bit more creative? Can we be a little more proactive going after the game? The happy medium is having good defenders, but bringing the likes of James back in to be more creative. And I think if we keep three of that back four and we bring Luca Dean back into it, then that'll almost balance it up for us, because you will have three out and out defenders, and it may be that sometimes it's Holgate and he doesn't cross the halfway line. Maybe it'll be Godfrey, or maybe because obviously Luca Dean will bomb on. We see, like I said before, we've seen that with Hammers when he come inside a few times and he's trying to shift it to the left. There's no one running on. Luca Dean's normally there and he can whip it in without even getting to the byline. So I think there's a couple of ways.
That's perfect world scenario though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's perfect. That's when you've always got your players available, and at the end of the day, these players are still going to play a hell of a lot of games, regardless. And we've seen that already. There's always, where's he going to play and where's that playing? Yeah, Ben Godfrey and Mason Holgate have played the last 12 games, something like that, last dozen games together in the team. So it doesn't always go like that. But obviously we went 3-0 up, and then that allowed us to start making changes and. Obviously, Bernard and Anthony Gordon didn't really make too much of a difference, but obviously we got a chance to see Tyler Onyongo come on, and then we got Thierry Smalls, which was fantastic for them players, wasn't it? Because to have those coming on the pitch was brilliant.
Yeah, well, I mean, what a moment for Thierry Smalls to come on and become the youngest ever Everton player in a competitive game. Incredible. To take Jose Baxter's record. But a fantastic moment for him. And Tyler Onyongo is someone who's been training with Everton's first team for a while, 17. Got the stats, needs to fill out a little bit, but got the stats, and thought he was good as well. So brilliant moments. And I said on my match reaction, that was the scenario in the last round for Ellis Sims to come on, but he got half an hour at the weekend for Blackpool in the FA Cup at Brighton, so that was probably a better experience for him, because he was up against the likes of Lewis Duncan, Ben White and people like that, Premier League defenders, so he'll have done well. But it is that scenario when you've got young players on the bench and you maybe feel like you can give them a little bit of a taste of it, but you've got to make sure the game's won. We couldn't do it in the last round with Rotherham because the game was tight. This time we were able to do it, and the subs were able to do it. You've already mentioned we were able to take Dom off after just over an hour. He'd scored a goal, done all right, back with a goal, go and sit down. We've got a big game in 72 hours. We were able to take Richarlison off, whether he liked it or not, and he didn't, but we were able to take him off. We were able to take Ben Godfrey off, who'd been booked for a bit of a nasty challenge really, because he was frustrated, but we were able to take him off and give John Joe Kenny some minutes as well. So it for the manager, for Dunk, for David Ancelotti, they'll have planned that, and it worked perfectly. Can we get far enough ahead in the game where we can make those changes, get people off the pitch, and possibly give these two young lads the opportunity? And it was exactly what we did, and it was just a really good night's work. Robin Olsen, they had one free kick near the end which deflected off Hammers, and he just caught it, no fuss, got it down. And someone put this on one of our comments, but I think I've said it, and I think you've certainly said it as well, is that the biggest compliment you can pay him for a goalie coming in who isn't your regular goalie is you don't even think about him being in goal. When you've had other keepers who come in, you're always a little bit like, what's he gonna be like? And you're a little bit edgy because it's been one goalie for so long. But for me, when he's in goal, I don't even give it a second thought. He's just our keeper. And I think, I don't know whether you had BT on, but they were running the game. I was listening to McManaman and the commentator, Drury, I think it might have been, he was talking about it, and he was saying, Everton have got 2 number ones. He said it's a rarity.
2 internationals.
The number ones. And it was weird to hear McManaman and I think Michael Owen as well, that said it, and he was going, what a really good squad Everton have got. And I was thinking,
are you mad?
But I think what it is, as you said it before, is that sometimes in the hurly-burly of the Premier League, you do discount some players because you forget how physically demanding the Premier League is. But I think what we're doing now is we're seeing the squad of who he's choosing come smaller and smaller and smaller, so that the ones that are having to play are the ones he trusts almost, and then obviously the bit parts.
Well, 3 of the players who come on last night were kids. Three have come on, and the kids at the end of the day, and that's exactly what you want. Like you said, that's the scenario. I mentioned this on my after match video. You're seeing your players. The manager, there's a little bit of an idea out there that the manager doesn't trust kids, and he probably doesn't for all the right reasons. So you're saying to your senior players who you're picking and you're trusting every week, do us a favour, go out and win this game nice and early for us, and then I can bring these kids on, right? Remember, this is going to be their opportunity, and in the Rotherham game, it was the senior players letting down the kids.
The kids, yeah.
Whereas last night, the scenario was what we all wanted. We'd seen them both on the bench. We all wanted that little moment of history last night, seeing the youngest ever player come on, and that was up to the senior players to get it done, and I think.
And they
did it, and that's really important, because that, to me, we talked before about, professionalism and being focused and doing what you need to do. I think that's also a big part of it, is looking at young players, thinking about what you were like. I mean, the likes of Dom, it wasn't that long ago. No. The likes of Mason Holgate, Ben Godfrey, it wasn't that long ago that they were in the same position. You're dying for a chance. This is your opportunity. So to do that, I thought that was really important, and okay, John Joe's not that old either, is he? Let's be honest. So it's not even. It's more like 4 out of the 5. Never mind. It's only Bernard who's come on really. He's got really a lot of senior experience. So for 4 out of the 5 to come on to have come through Everton's ranks, that's exactly what you want. It's that little taste. I know Anthony Gordon's had a bit more, and John Joe's had obviously been on loan and stuff.
He's played 100.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean.
You're right. We just brought 4 academy players, and we had a 5th one sat on the bench. So I've seen Jose Mourinho today even saying, "It's not my job to try and give Gareth Bale minutes. He's got to." Do you know what I mean? And this is a fella that's won 4 Champions Leagues or 3 Champions Leagues at Real Madrid, and the manager's going, he doesn't do it. I can't put him on to give him minutes. It's not. It's about my team, and from an Everton perspective. Well, what do we want from Carlo Ancelotti? Do we want him to be a development manager? So what we're saying is just play academy players and try to make them better. We had that with Roberto Martinez. It took us back. We want our manager to get us results. If these players are genuinely good enough, they'll force their way in anyway. Do you know what I mean? There is a little bit, but it's moments like this where you can give them that little bit of a taste and go, look, you've worked hard, you've trained with the first team. When we've had an opportunity, you're on our bench, and when we've had the opportunity, you've played. We've got you on the pitch. Keep doing what you're doing. How can you get better and better? And that moment last night was brilliant. To have 4 lads from the academy come on as our substitutes is absolutely fantastic. And the 5th one only didn't come on because he'll be starting the game on Wednesday night. So that, from an Everton perspective of bringing homegrown players through, it's brilliant. Now, we've got to get better at it, of course we have, but it's up to them players now, the 2 kids who come on. And Anthony Gordon more so than the other 2. He's got to take the challenge, because he come on last night and he just got the ball and passed it back. He was safe.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? It's that thing of going, remember when you were the new exciting kid? You're not anymore, mate.
No, now you've got to prove it.
Now you're just another squad player now, and all that stuff, all the hype's gone. You've seen it in I think one of the commentators, and I'm not having a go at Anthony Gordon here, by the way. I'm not having a go at him. But the commentator said himself, he said something like,
he's got to take these.
He said, these are the chances he's got to take. Talked about highly in the under-23s. And we know ourselves, this is the problem.
He's too good for the 23s.
We've done loads of shows on this, certainly on Patreon, about players being brilliant in the under-23s. And it'll be the same for those 2 kids. Thierry Smalls hasn't played that many times for the under-23s. You know, Nyongo's playing every week, but it's limiting. We've seen that with Sims. You know, if the players had done the job in the third round, he'd have got on. He'd have got on. They didn't, and that's not his fault. But so you send him somewhere else, and he's got on for Blackpool, and hopefully he gets minutes for them. So, you know, a lot of minutes. You want him to be, you want him to be a first team regular going by, you know, in the next few weeks.
You want him to do well for two reasons. Either because you can make your mind up whether he's going to do it at Everton, and if he isn't, you can get some money for him, because that's what the academy thing is. It's are you good enough for our team, and if you're not, can you make us money? Because we're seeing too many. But overall, it was brilliant.
Let's just look at the stats, and then we'll have a little look at it on Nyongo. Stats: 21 shots. That's fantastic. 8 on target. Brilliant. 4 big chances. 581 completed passes and 63% possession. So we dominated the game in every way.
We kept them down to 4 shots and only 1 on target. So, and then the 2 kids, obviously, coming on. This is just basically just to show you what, but for a kid who was on for 9 minutes, 100% passing accuracy, which is incredible. 7 touches, 1 tackle, won 2 of his 3 ground duels. 17 years of age, and he's a big lad. You can see there he needs to fill out a little bit, but he's a big lad. And obviously we had Thierry Small, Everton's youngest ever player, 67% passing accuracy, but 6 touches, won both of his tackles, won all of his ground duels. 16 years of age, which is absolutely fantastic.
I actually worked out that I was 2 weeks younger than him when I went to the 95 Cup final.
There you go. There you go. I'm older than the pair of them put together, so that's good. Well, no, it's brilliant, isn't it?
You might be taller than Small, though.
I don't know, he's a bit bigger than me.
Okay.
He's 5'10".
All right.
If you're asking Ned, he's 6'3".
I was just asking, that's what me and you look like if we were allowed to hug.
Ned, if we could hug, yeah. And Ned would be where Tyler's hand is, but he's 6'3" apparently. But no, it was great for them to get on, and like we said before, job done, wasn't it? We couldn't have handwritten it any better. If someone had said, perfect scenario would have been get the game done and rest some people and give some kids
and we're through to the 5th round. Obviously we'll play Wycombe or Spurs. We'll find out later on tonight. Come on, Wycombe!
But if
it's Spurs, it's Spurs. That's the way it is. We've already beaten them this season, and it'll be a tough game. So we'll see what happens with that one. There you go.
Good luck to Sheffield Wednesday as well, to be 6 points taken off you before the ball's kicked, and to do well, because Thompson's done well for them. You know, seemed like a nice fella as well. Came across nice after the game. So, like we said last week, you know, we were used to seeing them in the Premier League for so many years that you want to see them up there fighting to get back up, because they're a good club.
I mean, when they're not doing financial irregularities, but you know, it's another story.
It wasn't. But they are.
You said that.
They are a good. I like Sheffield. Don't mind Sheffield.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on the game. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want more great videos, join us on Patreon.